Namaskaram, Master. Namaskaram, Master. K P K.
Namaskaram, Master. K P K.
Namaskaram, Master. D K.
Namaskaram, Master. D K.
Namaskaram, Master. M N.
Namaskaram, Master. And
Namaskaram, Master. C P P.
Namaskaram, Master. C V V.
Namaskaram, Master. C P P.
Namaskaram, Master. C V V.
Namaskaram, Master. C P P. To your lotus feet.
Namaskaram, Master. C V V. To your lotus feet.
Master, please let us believe the influx of thy plenty of prana our system so that we may resist disease and death.
and death.
Where the highest truth, the pure love, and the bliss of existence, the humanity according to thy plan. Master, Namaskaram.
प्रचोदयात् ॐ भद्रो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भद्रो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ
Hari
Namaste Vayo Vameva Pratyaksham Brahmasmi Vameva Pratyaksham Brahma Varishyami
May the light in me
May the light in me
be the light before me.
be the light before me.
May I learn to see it in all.
May I see it all.
May the sound I utter
May it sound
reveal the light in me.
real.
May I return to it
May I
quite accustomed.
what
May Any silence,
Make silence.
in and around me,
In around me.
present itself.
Present itself.
The silence,
The silence.
which we break
Which
every moment,
every moment.
may fill
Make it filled.
the darkness of my spirit.
The darkness of our spirit.
But it
And you forget it
into the light of our background.
into the light of the background.
When virtue be,
That what you be
is the thought my intelligence.
is right by my intelligence.
That realization be
My intelligence.
my attainment.
My attainment.
That my purpose
Let my purpose
shape into the purpose
shape into the purpose
of our life.
of our life.
That my plan be
Let my plan be
an outcome of the divine plan.
and become of the divine plan.
May we speak the silence
May we stay in silence
without breaking it.
without breaking it.
And we live
May we live
the awareness of the background.
in the awareness of the background.
It can that life
And we find it
in terms of joy.
in terms of joy.
May we be worthy,
Let me be happy.
find grace,
Find places
the eternal kingdom. Oh,
in the kingdom of
Loka.
Garam's master, K-E-K. Can you all hear me? Good evening, all. First of all, I don't have any personal experience with Master EK. I never met him in person. So my only exposure to Master EK is through his teachings and the ones that I listen in the audio tapes and the books that I read. So when Shivaji asked me to speak, I thought I'll speak about one of the books of Master EK that resonated with me much. It's the Science of Man book. It's a very profound subject, but it's written in a very easy way. So I thought I'll speak about this book, just not about like an overview of the book or a review of the book, but something that resonated with me, a dimension of Master EK that resonated with me. Just to give you a taste of it, so you hopefully find similar things in your own study as well. So for myself, I have trouble with abstract, complex topics when it comes to wisdom, and I prefer to have something simple that I can understand and something that I can practice in day-to-day life. That's the way I approach any wisdom topic, and that's the topics that I gravitate to. And one of the beauties of Master EK's teachings is he presents a lot of complex topics in a very, very simple manner, using some very simple examples and metaphors, as Lakshmi Reddy mentioned before. And his teachings also focus quite a bit on practical knowledge. There are some teachings that are abstract, but majority of his teachings are oriented to daily practice. And that's the one that I resonate most with. And Science of Man, a book is one such profound topic that presents very profound knowledge, but in a very, very simple, easy to explain, almost like a kid level, but and gives a day-to-day practical way of approaching that wisdom. So Master EK starts this bookmark, The Science of Man, with saying we made a lot of advances in the modern science in terms of going into space, exploring the space, and also on the other side, where we're approaching the finer particles in the world. Like Shiva talked about the quantum side of the area where we're doing the research, right? But we still have a lot of unrest and a lot of unrest, as well as a lot of unfulfilled desires in us that we struggle with every day. We still have a lot of wars, right? We're not happy. What Master EK says is, if we want ourselves to be happy, then we need to experiment with ourselves. Each one of us have to experiment with ourselves and know who we are. And that's the real science that makes us happy and enjoy what we are. And this book of The Science of Man is talking about how we approach who we are and how we experiment within ourselves, with ourselves. Master EK says in this book, it's easy to work with anything else in this world except with our own self. And we see this, right? It's easy to ask others to change, but it's very difficult for ourselves to change. That's the crux of this is where Master EK says, this is the real modern science, where the modern scientists, which is ourselves, need to explore within ourselves who we are, where we came from, and how we function. So that's the topic of this subject and this book. In all its details, It's a series of 10 chapters. They're probably compiled from some audio lectures that Master gave in the West. It's not a book that Master wrote himself, so it's a transcription of some audio lectures that are put together in a book format. I will not go into each of these chapters or any of these. What I'll do is I'll cover one item that resonated with me and one example of how Master approaches working with ourselves in day-to-day life, just to give a glimpse of the dimension of Master EK that you might find interesting for yourself. So when we think of who we are, and in ourselves, we have essentially two parts within us. A lower self, what we call as mind senses, and a higher self. And when we are in our lower self, when we are working with the mind and senses, we are often not very happy. We find ourselves with a lot of unrest. But when our mind and senses work with our own higher self, then we find the bliss, we find the joy. So what is this higher self? We heard a lot of like 7 chakras, all of these before, right? But what does it really mean in a practical sense? Right? And this is where I found a good visualization in Master KPK's 7 Waves of Human Evolution book. So we have all seen the pictures of babies in the womb, right? How they grow in each of the months, and they form limbs, they form heart, and eventually they grow into babies that we see, right? But the origin of all of that, when it starts, is one single. It's not even difficult. It's even too difficult to describe, but it's one single atom. If you think in the physical sense, but even before that single physical atom existed, there is something that creates that atom, right? And that atom, that single non-physical component is us. That's our real I am. So that real I am existed before we took birth, and that real I am exists even after we leave the physical body. That's the I am. So if we think of like higher self and all that, we each of us have been in that vision. If you visualize yourself, ourselves, as that tiny particle before we took birth, that's ourselves. That's our real I am. And we continue to exist, and we have been existing for a long, long time. That's what Master EK describes in the first part of the book. And the visualization example that I gave is from Master KPK's book. But that's the real I am that we need to work towards. It's not an abstract concept. If you just think of where we came from before the birth, that's our real I am. It's not something like out of the world that we need to imagine. We just need to visualize that how we were before we took birth and how we will be eventually. And that single, for lack of better word, single particle that we started with, that that I am, is what's in a lot of books called as individual unit of consciousness. And that individual unit of consciousness, or I am, localized I am, is part of that universal consciousness. It's just a spark that came out of that universal consciousness, or what we call as that. So if we think of ourselves, we are nothing but the abstract, what we call as universal consciousness, just an individual tiny component. That's what we are working towards realizing ourselves. That's the science that we are trying to explore in each, like all of these prayers and puja that we do. That's what we're trying to explore and come to realization with. And this is what Master EK talks about as the science of man. How do we know about our own self and how do we approach it? So this is the theory part, right? And a lot of books cover this. What Master EK teachings that resonate with me is how do you go about it? How do you go about approaching that abstract concept? Even though we are able to visualize it, how do we actually get to that state? And Master EK rightly says this requires a systematic training. It's not like you just jump in and you get it right away, right? Otherwise, we would have been all in that state right away. Once we do one prayer and we're done, right? No, it requires a systematic training. And that's what is in the real sense called as yoga. The science of man is a modern word, and the ancient word for it is yoga. And that's what we're working with. Yoga nowadays has a lot of different meanings and it lost its significance. But this is the real, in Master EK's words, this is the real essence of what yoga is. And that's what we are trying to work with. And when we think of like systematic training, I was thinking like this is really complex. This is going to now take forever to understand what the systematic training is, and I probably will give up on reading the rest of this book. Then Master EK's brilliance again presents this in a very, very simple format. How do you approach it? He says all that's required as a first step is discipline. Think of discipline like a time to sleep, a time to eat, what do you eat. These are all basic things, right? Then the next thing is regulating the mind. That's the next thing in the sequence of discipline. How do you regulate the mind? Again, that's abstract concept, right? What do you mean by regulating mind? Master EK gives a very simple story to describe how do you regulate mind. And you probably heard this story from many number of times. Master KPK also told this story many number of times. I'll briefly tell that story just to give a sense of how Master EK approaches discipline of regulating the mind. Very simple. There was once a man that went to a sannyasi. He had a lot of powers to give, and this man wanted a power to get whatever he wants. So he goes to the sannyasi and asks, I want to get this power to do whatever I want. Then the sannyasi says, yeah, I'll give you the power. But there is one condition. Once you get the power, I'll give you this giant, and he will work with you and give you whatever you want. The condition is you need to keep this giant occupied and give him work all the time. If you don't give the work, he'll eat you up. That's the only condition. And the man thinks, yeah, I can give a lot of work. I have a lot of work. I'm already behind. So I can give him a lot of work and keep him occupied. So he's very happy. The giant appears whenever this man calls and does the work. So the first few days, he has a lot of pending work. So he assigns all this work to him and he's getting all this work done instantaneously. Beautiful, right? Then he starts having all these things that he wanted to have that he never had. So he asks for gold, he asks for tasty food, and everything is appearing to him in like an instance of minutes. Now the man, whatever desires he had, things that he wanted to get, even blown 10x of his original desires, he got all of those. Now he's running out of things that he desires, and thus he's running out of things to assign to this giant. And the giant is coming back to him again and again, asking like, "I need work. I need work." If you don't give me work, I'll eat you. So, simple equation. Now this man is getting worried. How do I keep him occupied? I don't have enough work for him. I don't have enough desires. I keep asking and he's manifesting all these things. Now he's worried. He doesn't know what to do. Then eventually runs back to the sannyasi that gave him the giant. Says, I don't have any work to do. Take him back. The sannyasi says, I can't take him back. I gave you on the condition that you keep him engaged. Otherwise, he'll eat you up. That's the condition. Then he doesn't know what to do. So he asks the sannyasi, what do I do now? Then eventually, after a long time, the sannyasi says, I'll give you a technique. And then he whispers something, and now the man is happy. So after all that is done, the man tells the giant, go bring a big pillar. And the giant goes back and brings that big pillar. Okay. The next thing the man says, climb up the pillar and climb down till I tell you otherwise. So the giant is happy. He's climbing up and down and climbing up and down. And whenever the man needs, he calls the giant and gets the work done. So this simple story that Master E.K. told is about regulating mind. And he's telling this story, right? So what is the mind here? The mind is the giant. So if you don't eat, if you don't give anything to mind, it will start consuming us, the I am, and keeping it occupied. So how do you, what's the pillar in our real world? Master says the pillar in our real world is impersonal work. Do work, but do impersonal work. And that impersonal work will eventually lead you to your higher self. So that's how Master E.K. gives a very complex subject, but in a very simple story, how you approach in our daily life. Again, if you think of impersonal work, what's impersonal work, right? How do you go about it? Then Master E.K. gives another example in the same chapter, like right away. Again, very simple example. You've probably heard this many number of times. A person is selling tickets at a ticket counter. That's his job. This is a travel agency, and he's selling tickets. So if the guy that's selling the tickets remembers that he's selling tickets for all the passengers that are going to travel, and it's his duty to sell tickets for those passengers and enable their journey, then Master E.K. says that's impersonal work. Very simple. But if the same salesperson thinks that I need to sell tickets so I can get my salary and be happy, that same work now becomes personal work. It's no longer impersonal because his motive is to get the salary, not do the work. In both examples, the salesperson is doing exactly the same thing. He's selling tickets. But in the first example, he's remembering that he's selling tickets for passengers to make the journey. In the second example, his starting point is, I want to get salary, so I need to do this job. Exactly the same work. It's just a different way of approaching things. That's the difference between personal work and impersonal. Again, very simple, right? Very simple example. That's how Master E.K. approaches working with ourselves to really realize our higher self. The book has a lot of these really practical tips on how you work with yourself. So I just wanted to give one example to share like how Master EK approaches working with ourselves. It's something that we can do in our daily life. Right? So I thought I'll share this just so you get this dimension of Master EK. You probably have seen this, but this is a dimension of Master EK that resonates most with me. In this example, Master KPK also gave one suggestion to distinguish between impersonal work and personal work. Seems very simple, right? But how do we fail very often? We fail very often, right? I fail very often. I'm assuming most of us fail often. It seems very simple, right? Master KPK says all it takes is 3 breaths. Before you do any work, take 3 breaths and recollect what you're doing. That's all. Then your work becomes impersonal. All it takes, again, very simple, right? Master KPK even brought it down and made it even simpler. 3 breaths. Before you do any work, recollect why you're doing, and that's it. It doesn't take a lot of hours of contemplation to see what impersonal work is. Am I doing it right or wrong? Just 3 deep breaths and recollect what you're doing. And then the work we do becomes impersonal. And this impersonal work, the great advantage with this impersonal work is it does not incur any karma. Impersonal work does not incur any karma. So we have less bondage with our lower self, and slowly and gradually we'll be able to realize our higher self. Again, all simple practical tips. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you. Hopefully you'll find this at least inspiring to read this book for yourself and get your own nuggets of suggestions. Okay, thank you.
समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु అందరిలోనూ నిన్నే చూస్తూ అంతర్యామిగా దర్శిస్తూ ఆచార్యమావాహయామి స్థాపయామి పూజయామి कृष्णमाचार्यमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि. Namaskaram to everyone. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank for giving me this opportunity. So when I was asked to talk about Master EK and homeopathy, I thought, how is Master EK and homeopathy relevant to us in our day-to-day lives? What is it that we can learn from this, great master, and how is it like we can practically apply these things to our day-to-day life? Master EK is a master of a very hierarchical order. He has been a householder, a professor, a poet, a writer, who molded lives of many in tune with the divine plan. He is a healer of a very high order who is well versed with the systems of Ayurveda and homeopathy. He is a spiritual guide who led people to understand that part of a human which is divine. So the first thought that comes when thinking of Master EK is how I knew him growing up. We used to fondly call him as EK Tatagaru, and taking the sweet pills in his name in every homeopathic dispensary we walked into. He has always been an invisible member of my family. His name came up in every walk of life. Master EK is an experience. Of course, it is tasted by each person in their own ways, their personalities decoded. Most of us have not seen him in their physical, but we all relate to this Grand Master in the form of his teachings by Master KPK, by reading Master's books, listening to people's experiences who moved very closely with him, and taking the homeopathic medicines, which of course many of us have an experience of. When I think of this, we grew up in an environment where Master EK was very much a part and parcel of life. But how do we pass this legacy of Master to our next generation, growing up so far from him? What can make our next generation relate to the teachings of this Master to find a connection and stay bonded to themselves? I want to take this opportunity to recollect Master's life's events and understand this from a scientific perspective to help us find the teachings relevant to the current moment and find their practical application in day-to-day life. When Dr. Anantacharya Garu, father of Master EK, was in deep communion with Krishna consciousness, he conceived Master EK. This was the reason why the child was named after Lord Krishna as Krishnamacharya. The importance of good physical health at the time of pregnancy is known by all. But there is a discipline that needs to be implanted by the couple to beget a healthy child, and this has been explained by Master in his books. This institutes the health in a child from the point of impregnation. The couple need to be recommended on right attitudes, right food, right activity, and right conditions for conception. The couple needs to be harmonious and mentally at peace and poised before the conception. They are also required to be healthy, not only physically, but also emotionally. This time and place of conception were also given utmost importance. There is a discipline throughout pregnancy for the couple to maintain harmony at mind, peace in the emotional pain, and health in the physical. The mother is advised to follow high standards of food intake, to have regular readings of inspiring lives and wisdom books, to participate in holy congregations and meditation programs. This base for good health cannot be created later. Conditions at the time of conception, pregnancy, and delivery are of paramount importance to provide healthy genes. It is necessary to offer congenial and harmonious conditions for the descending soul. The soul feels imprisoned unless it is very well taken care without the knowledge of the conceiving couple. The higher state of health by the conceiving couple, physically and mentally, higher is the quality of the soul they beget. It is utmost responsibility of every parent to realize this significance and impart such knowledge to the future generations to have a healthy and evolving human race. Master EK was a very bright child since his childhood years. His father, Dr. Anantacharya Garu, was a Vedic scholar, and he was also a healer of very high order. He took to Ayurveda and he did miraculous cures. Though Master EK had good knowledge of the Vedas from his father, by soul quality, he preferred to worship the world mother Gayatri. As he lost his mother in his early age, he was receiving a kind of motherly nourishment during his sleep hours. This led him proximate to the mother's energy. Losing a parent at a very young age is a very difficult situation. Trauma is a very well aware word these days. Childhood trauma may not necessarily have a negative impact, can be a moral from this. When life situations are understood as part of human journey and the experience from it as a cream needed for the evolution, it trains the mind to be resilient and rise above the situations. This can be taken as a life lesson on which most people can work on. Although Master EK was a very handsome with a brilliant facial aura and dignity, he continued the worship of Gayatri, giving his countenance a female beauty. He carried in him the characteristics of the mother, and he was very lovable, serviceable, patient, and understanding. People felt great comfort in his presence. Comfort by mere presence is something most of us can relate to when we were personally blessed by Master KPK in our group life locally. When Master EK was contemplating upon the World Mother, Master CVV appeared in his vision. From the moment Master EK consciously came to know of Master CVV, a master appeared and started speaking to him in his vision and was informed that he was chosen for a grand work which would be revealed to him and he would receive guidance. The very reason of his sincerity with the light of Gayatri gave him this opportunity to be a part of future world server and a master. Master CVV made a bold promise that whoever follows his path with utmost sincerity, he will become him. Master EK and Master KPK are examples of this prophecy coming true in our lifetimes. Blessed are we in touch with those divine energies. Master CVV laid out a specific plan to initiate the seekers of the truth into the path of immortality through the process of triple formula, which Master EK worked out for a period of 12 years. The three principles, morning and evening invocation of a given sound, dedicating life to service, and to stop working for self-profit. Let's see the scientific perspective for such a training. Rhythm and periodicity are laws of nature which maintain balance. Rhythm is a fundamental organizing principle of life, impacting everything from our biological process, like our circadian rhythms, our sleep cycles, to our social interactions and cognitive abilities. Just as the orderly structure in an atom makes an iron piece a magnet, by being rhythmic, it generates magnetism in the body. When rhythm in the body is disturbed, the life force or the prana shakti, it becomes disturbed, leading to disease. Healing is facilitated by clearing the obstacles for the free flow of soul energy. Rhythm also eliminates the blockages such as fatigue and conflict. Fatigue, which is common from daily work, can be antidoted by interestedness, humor, and patience. Routine is monotonous, circular, and remains at a place, while rhythm is pyrrhic and it unfolds consciousness. During meditation, it is suggested to breathe consciously during the time of sunrise and sunset. The respiration should be conscious, slow, soft, deep, and uniform. This increases the resistance against disease and has a remarkable effects on the health. Via the vital body, the life force is brought in, blood is enriched with oxygen, our life is suffused with spiritual energy. Such is the power of the prayer on the physical body. Service activity is also scientifically proven to improve physical health and reduce stress and improve mood when done in a right way. Engaging in positive social interactions and providing social support has been linked to stronger immune systems and reduced inflammation. When the physical impacts of what is done can be scientifically explained to the current generation, the likeliness of them adhering to the principles will stand a greater chance than being dismissed as religious or spiritual belief. The Vedic system is built in such a way to have enough physical activity, social interaction, and also solitude for self-reflection to ensure health at physical, emotional, and mental levels. Since Master EK came into this energy, he worked out 30 years of teaching, healing, writing, and molding the lives of people in accordance with the grand plan. During the later 12 years, he was curing people during the worship of Lakshmi Narayana, and he was guiding friends through their personal problems. The physical impact of the puja on the physical body can be understood with these examples. Vedic chanting is believed to have various physical impacts, primarily through the activation of parasympathetic nervous system and the modulation of brain activity. These effects can lead to reduced stress, improved heart rate viability, enhanced emotional resilience, improved focus, concentration, potentially also impacting cognitive functions. Research suggests that chanting can influence brainwave activity, shifting towards lower frequency rhythms like alpha and theta waves. Alpha waves are associated with relaxation, calmness, reduced stress, and a state of wakeful alertness. Theta waves are associated with deep relaxation, vivid imagery, and a connection to the subconscious mind. Medical research has shown that alpha waves can be used in chronic pain management, while theta waves are believed to facilitate access to the subconscious mind, leading to the greater intuitive insights and a deeper understanding of one's thoughts and emotions. This is the state that yogis are believed to be when they are in a deep contemplation. The theta waves are also referred to as waves of healing because they promote regeneration, growth, rejuvenation, restoration after illness, physical exertion, and mental burnout. Theta chambers are explored as potential option for individuals to overcome substance abuse dependencies. These wave frequencies are made available as apps in mobile devices to unwind from stress. Master EK was given lessons relating to occultism. Copious dictations and lessons were given to him to comprehend in the field of spiritual astrology, spiritual psychology, keys to sound, color, number, and symbol. He was also admitted into the esoteric schools of Masonry. In a period of 12 years, he accomplished most advanced rituals. 33 volumes of the wisdom of Pythagoras were revealed to him. The chief 18 keys relating to the grand epic Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita also were revealed. The significance of occult sciences lies in their influence on scientific thought and their continued exploration of the relationship between the physical and the non-physical worlds. Examining the occult can encourage critical thinking by prompting questions about the nature of knowledge, evidence, and the limitations of scientific understanding by offering perspectives that can complement scientific investigations. Spiritual astrology helps with the understanding the law of correspondence. This helps us to map the planetary intelligences within a human system. When such mapping happens, the connection between the intelligences to colors, to sounds, to chakras, to the physical part of the body can be understood. Puja and fire rituals can be realized as happenings in the human system. Such understanding can also help to map the disease to the energy disturbance and not just the physical organ affected. When such healing can be understood, the patient can be restored to health physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This understanding broadens the limitation of health beyond the physical frame. The convergence of such sciences is already happening, paving a way to new era healing as proposed by Master. Integrated medical sciences are opening the doors for such healing modalities. Spiritual psychology explored the connection between man that is known and the part of man which is unknown. There are two sides to the mind, one which is tied towards the body, called the objective side, and the second one towards oneself, the real I am, the subjective mind. Gaining mastery over the mind is a Herculean task. Yoga is a process to reverse the objective mind into the subjective side. The process to achieve this is instructed by Patanjali as Yoga Sutras in his 162 aphorisms. Atha Yoganusasanam. These are step-by-step instructions to the process of yoga. What is the purpose of this yoga? Yogaha chitta vritti nirodhakaha. Meaning, yoga is the process of stopping the behavior of the mind. Let's talk about the significance of sound. Madam Blavatsky says, atoms or vibrations are collectively called as sound. Sound is presented as a primal creative force, the basis of all forms, colors, and material manifestations. This emphasizes that sound can give rise to color, and correlating to the vibrations of the sound, new colors can also be made. Speech is the primary human communication, and harmonious tuning of one's vibrations through sound brings about spiritual advancement and inner perception, while discord leads to frenzy and chaos, as can be seen in day-to-day situations. Sound has significant scientific and medical importance, ranging from diagnostic imaging to therapeutic applications and even influencing psychological well-being. Ultrasound procedures use sound waves for diagnostic purposes. Sound therapy, including music and specific sound frequencies, are being explored for pain management, stress reduction, and improved mental health. The connection between right speech and emotional well-being need not be explicitly explained. Devotional singing and music in general has been an integral part of every tradition across the cultures of the world. Master EK, when going through intense training, was subject to a crisis. It presented as ill health of his second son, which could not be cured with either allopathic or Ayurvedic medical systems. He was driven to homeopathy through this. With the help of a good friend who is also a homeopath, Master EK started working on his son to relieve him from the suffering of the epilepsy. He was committed to alleviate suffering through this process of treating his own son. He had to make fresh and original study of homeopathy to gain insight into the science. He found many dimensions which were unrecorded, and consequently, he could treat his son and cure him out of the sickness. The crisis led him to adopt homeopathy as a means of healing for the rest of his life. During his stay in Guntur, Master EK was already accomplished in healing through sound, through touch, and sight. He also got thoroughly familiar with the science of homeopathy. To prevent the public attraction and excitement, he chose to work through the therapy of homeopathy, hiding his occult powers of healing. Master EK therefore chose to do enormous healing work with homeopathy as a facade. His administration of homeopathy had many dimensions. He contributed significantly to the science of homeopathy by expounding certain additional qualities to the popular homeo medicines. He commenced the healing work with a dispensary at home run by him to assist by his friends. It was a free dispensary where medicine was given with love and without a fee. Patients were coming and getting healed in a miraculous fashion. The dispensaries grew in time and multiplied. Those who associated with him in conducting the homeo dispensaries got interested to learn the science. Those who learned were also encouraged to operate dispensaries on their own in their own localities. As a second and advanced step, Master EK encouraged even the patients who came to him to learn homeo and become homeo doctors. He's an alchemist who transferred patients into healers. This is a relatable experience to most of the WTP groups. The master promised visible and invisible cooperation to them to heal the patients. As the dispensaries multiplied, he came to be known as a very generous, charitable, loving homeo doctor. He has given enormous impetus to the movement of homeopathy in Andhra Pradesh. Due to his inspiration, more than 100 clinics function, dispensing medicine freely to the patients every day, even today. Master EK authored several books and teachings on homeopathy, including a book titled Science of Homeopathy, which meticulously defines health, symptoms, acute and chronic diseases, and fundamental principles of homeopathy. His integrated approach to healing with a holistic approach of various sciences attracted people from various facets of the world. His doors for healing were kept open at all times. He always kept a telephone at his bedside to receive distant calls to give advice for patients even in his sleep hours. Such was his commitment to healing. Besides manifesting the Aquarian energies, Master EK also entrusted with age-old teaching and healing, which is the main work of the hierarchy. Thus, Master EK's work essentially revolves around the introduction of yoga of immortality, propounded by Master CBB, teaching the people intricacies of ancient wisdom and healing the people. The work thus chiefly unfolded through healing, while teaching and initiating work concurrently happened. He did not proclaim to anyone, nor was he pretentious of being linked to the hierarchy. He remained simple and spread simplicity. In such simplicity, he enlightened beings through the minute and simplest of the deeds. Although he was demonstrating such high powers of healing, he was also conscious of the law of karma relating to a patient and also the time dimension. He was doing his healing work dispassionately. When there are a few failures here and there, he gracefully accepted them and remained silent. Mostly, he knew the cause for the failure as arising out of the karma of the patient, but remained silent to the acceptance of others' view of his failure. Usually, men who do great acts of healing do not accept their mistakes and their failures. But great ones are even greater since they accept their mistakes and failures. Master Ike was not hesitant to concede when the situation demanded. Such was a kind of his greatness. Volumes can be written of the variety of healing he has done to thousands of people. He was even molding and transforming people. He frequently used homeopathic medicines for cure, taught Ayurvedic principles to prevent persons from falling into sickness, and gave the touch of divinity for general upliftment of the patient. Healing reestablishes the life forces to their natural equilibrium in the body, and the teaching would cause unfoldment of awareness. Unless the pranic forces are restituted to their normalcy, awareness do not unfold. Prana treat, yoga teach was a statement given by Master CDV, and Master EK followed the same. That is the difference between treating and healing a patient. The treating and healing was carried out for 30 years. He not only taught the hidden side of the scriptures, but also taught his followers the occult sciences such as spiritual astrology, sound, color, number, symbolism, tantra, mantra, and even the Middle East sciences as Ramallah. He wrote more than 50 books, ranging from commentaries on scriptures of homeoscience and health, and gave a deeper insight into Srimad Bhagavata, Bhagavad Gita, astrology, Vedic hymns, Patanjali Yoga, rituals, and other facets of wisdom. He also conceived 4 booklets for initial training of the children by the parents. The writings are all inspirational teachings. These books, Spiritual Astrology, Mandra Scripture, Music of the Soul, Man Sacrifice, commentaries on Srimad Bhagavata are all outstanding examples of this process of inspirational writing. He did not specifically initiate or propose any action. To respond to the proposal, but not to propose, was the chief tenet of his work. All of us need to take time to ponder on this statement. Yoga is no longer a practice of just sadhus or rishis doing penance in Himalayas. It has become a day-to-day necessity and being taught everywhere in the name of mindfulness, yoga nidra, etc. Arishad Vargas are called hindrances in the journey of yoga. The impact of anger on the physical body can lead to increased heart rate, arrhythmias, stress response, stomach distress, sleep disturbance, muscle tension, and so on and so forth, just to name a few. The impact of cortisol and adrenaline on the body triggers anxiety, followed by a set of related troubles. No wonder Arishad Vargas are called internal enemies. The seers have foreseen the situation, and the remedial measures were suggested as a yogic way of living. While the scientific evidence helps the future generations to not dismiss the ideas as old-fashioned, it reinstills the sense of purpose in our generation. Many of us have seen and grown up with these practices, not understanding their sense of purpose. Look at it as a practical way to relate to the teachings. How many of us not know the significance of sitting in a prayer every day? The fact that we know is not sufficient to be in the prayer every day. Even when we sit, how many knows how to work with their mind? How to find the balance to regulate our emotions? Just as we find different ways to solve a problem from different perspectives, knowing the implication of what we do can give us one more push to be able to do and adhere to such rhythm. The emphasis on rhythm and the power of habit can help bring a dramatic change in this pattern. We have practices of Mandala Diksha to instill a habit into our lifestyle. Science says we need an average of 66 days to incorporate any habit into our day-to-day life. We are celebrating Master's birthday here today in a very blissful way. But once the event is done, we will really carry the spirit with us into our day-to-day lives. Prayer is a connectivity to such divine light in us and to be in the presence of such grand energy on a day-to-day basis. Only when we sit, we know that Master is relating to us. There is a Shirdi Sai saying, if you look to me, I look to you. Does that mean that Master is not looking us when we are not looking at him? How do we even know that Master is looking at us if we are not oriented to him? But for such energy to awaken in us, a certain sense of discipline is inevitable. We know how much of physical preparation is needed when hosting the master in the physical form. The adjustments we made, the planning we did, the cleanliness we adopted. Even to request the master to drive in our vehicles, we had to make so many adjustments, and the request was accepted when the necessary preparations are met. When such is the case, if we have to request a universal light to dawn into our heart centers and enlighten our being, imagine the preparation and the readiness that needs to be adhered in our day-to-day lives. Inviting the energy twice a day into the body demands certain cleanliness, fairy inspiration, ardent invite, enormous patience, and a sense of surrender to acknowledge that we are incapable of such rhythm and discipline. That's the reason Master CVV said, just sit in my prayer and I'll make the needed adjustments for you. Each day we are away from prayer, we are losing the opportunity to connect to the Master visiting our house. Let us pray to the Master to guide us to lead a healthier and purposeful life, to be able to realize the concept of group living, Vrindavanam. The concept of group living is what masters are striving for. If not for spirituality, at least let us stick to the rhythmic living to reap the health benefits. Health is greater wealth a person can possess these days. I thank you all for your passionate listening and